intro?
Of course. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really happy to stand here today. I'm Johanna. I'm from Germany. I worked in a really cool project with a really, really cool team. So this is Luis, we have Daniel, and we have Ronaldo. Like, we worked together for the... We worked together for the past 2 weeks, and I'm super excited to stand here today and like present our final project. So like you already said, it's Go Crops. You probably don't know what Go Crops is. Go Crops is a marketplace for farmers. It aims to connect agriculture through knowledge. That sounds really fancy. What does it actually mean? It means we bring together the farmers that are really far away, somewhere in the landside, with the marketplaces, the online marketplaces that are usually in the cities. So yeah, you can see it here. This is our homepage. Those are the farmers that already logged in through our website. Yes. So what does Go Crops do for you as a farmer? Like, just imagine you're a farmer, you're really far away, you don't really know what's going on in the city. What Go Crops does, it empowers you to take care of your crops, keep track of them, and also take better decisions because you'll be able to have price information that we provide for you. So that is one side of the story. The other side of the story is the marketplaces. So what do we do for the marketplaces? For the marketplaces, we build an API. Some of you might not know what an API is. Don't worry, I'll explain it later. Just keep it in your head. So we build an API for them to interact with their farmers. So in order to explain what Go Crop does, I want to take you on a little journey. We're gonna go to Europe. We're gonna go to Transylvania, and we're gonna follow the journey of Vasily. Vasily is a Transylvanian farmer. He lives there. He heard about Go Crops, and he's going to sign up with Go Crops. And obviously, you all know Transylvania, they have a huge amount of vampires, so he's going to grow garlic to meet the huge demand of garlic they have in that region. So as you can see, those are the sign-up forms. We require several information here. Some of them are for you as a farmer. Some of them we request from you, so they will be made available through our API for the marketplaces later. So his farm name is going to be really cool. It's going to be a vampire's nightmare. So no vampire is going to get close to his farm because there's going to be so much garlic, because he's going to be so awesome at growing farming thanks to us. So this is really important. So he logs in his farm location. This is connected to Google. So we can use the geolocation of that farm in order to later use it in the API for the marketplaces, but also use it for himself in order to give him more information. You'll see that later once he's fully logged in. He can update a picture of his farm so people would know what his farm would look like. He's going to put the farm size inside, and he's almost done. He's also going to put in some certification. That's also important for the marketplaces. Maybe they just want to buy from certified farmers that are organic. So that's why it's really important that we put in those data. So now he's successfully logged in. This is his profile page, but we're not going to talk about the profile page because you already seen that. We're going to go straight to the dashboard. So what do you see on the dashboard? Right now, not too much. But what you do see is the utilities. The utilities is what I talked about with the geolocalization. It's weather information based on the location of the farm. So the farmer can know, for example, it's 60% air humidity today, so he might want to water his plants, or he might not want to water his plants, depends on what he wants to do. But we said he's going to grow garlic, so let's add a crop. Right? So he's going to create a new crop. It's going to be garlic, and it's also not going to be any type of garlic. It's going to be a special type of garlic. It's going to be hard-necked porcelain garlic because that's the most effective garlic against vampires. So once he created that garlic, he is also requested to put in some harvest dates. Those harvest dates are not really for him because he already knows when he's going to harvest his garlic, but the harvest date is rather for the API later. So the marketplace could know when he's going to be ready to sell his products, right? So that's why he's required to put that in. So you have to understand some of the information that you as a farmer are required to put in are for yourself to get to know your products better, and some of the information are for the API later on. So now let's go back to the dashboard and see what changed. So as you can see, the garlic is now there in his crops. So what you see are pretty much two different prices right here, right? Like the one is blue and the other one is green, and it's going to be really confusing. The first one, the blue one, it's the price of the current month of garlic in Europe. That price comes from the European Commission. We're using their prices. They make it available in the web, so we're using their prices. The second thing is the next month's price. Obviously, this is not yet available, so we had to use some predictions, some forecasts in order to derive that price. We used some smoothing methods, so we would take into account that there are trends and seasonalities for all those crops. So the farmer would know, oh, it's probably a good choice to plant garlic right now because the prices are going up. If he clicks on his product there, he's also going to be able to put in 2 different dates to see historic data for those crops. So let's say the last 10 years of garlic. So now he sees like a nice graph in order to like figure out how maybe the seasonality of garlic is, so he can be sure that he plants it at the right point in time in order to be able to sell it when the price is rather high than low, right? So what I want to do now is I want to go to a different profile that I already created before because we have a couple more products there and it's going to be easier for me to explain stuff. So we're going to go to the dashboard. This is my own farm. I have 3 different things. I have apples, I have cauliflower, I have grapes. So you see they all have different kinds of colors. So you're going to be wondering, like, why do they have different colors? It was not a design choice. It actually has some functionality behind it. So red, danger, means, oh my god, prices are going down. Green means, yes, prices are going up. And yellow means, oh, they're like fairly stable. Go on, what you're doing, everything is fine. What we used for that indication is the prediction of the next month prices, right? So what we said is like, if the next month price is in the range of the current month price, plus 1 standard deviation, it's going to be fairly stable because there's always like a little bit of variety, so we don't want to confuse you. If it's only going up a little bit, it's probably still like a stable price. But if it's green, it means it's going up more than 1 standard deviation, so that's a good time for you to sell your product. Also, like garlic, for example, you can like put it in a storage and like wait for it to sell, right? It's like not a fresh product. You can also sell it if it's like already harvested. So that's for you to, in order to make the decision, should I rather sell it right now? Or should I maybe put it in my storage and wait for it a little bit longer? So what I want to do now is getting back to that weird API thing I was talking about in the beginning. So who of you doesn't know what an API is? Who have never heard of APIs? Okay, so what is an API? API stands for Application Programming Interface. It sounds really complicated, but it's actually really, really simple. An API is just an interface that lets 2 softwares talk to each other. So usually pretty much everything you see on the internet is like a software talking to you as a user. But that's not an API. An API is talking to software, so it's not going to be super readable for humans. We're just going to present it to you as well because it's going to give you a greater picture. So I talked to you about what kind of data we input. So I talked to you like we put in the harvest dates, we put in the farm. So what we see right here is pretty much all the farmers that logged in close to Sao Paulo. So let's say a marketplace would go online and search for all marketplaces around. And that's going to be really valuable for them because beforehand they had to call every single farmer and ask like, hey, do you have apples next month? Or like call the next farmer and be like, oh, do you have bananas? And then like the farmer would be like, no, sorry, bud, but like try to call the next one. So that's like a really time-consuming work. Right now they're going to have all that information just by clicking one button and saying, I look for apples and I look for them next month, because this is the information that is going to be made available through the API. So remember Vasily, the farmer with the garlic? We're going to try and find him right now. So we looked for farmers close to Bucharest. And Bucharest is fairly close to Transylvania. So yes, we have luck, we found him. So marketplace in the city of Bucharest would now be able to see that Vasily, far away in Transylvania, is wanting to sell garlic at those 2 harvest dates, one in March and one in November. So the marketplace could directly contact him, not having to call 10 different farmers, but just call Vasily and ask, hey, would you be willing to give me some garlic? And Vasily, on the other hand, is going to be really happy because he knows all the price information. So he doesn't have to like guess what price he wants to have. He knows what the price is going to behave like, so he can make better price decisions, how to sell his garlic. Yes, so this is pretty much our project. I want to like just come over, you guys, so you can stand here with us. Yeah. I want to thank Le Wagon. I want to thank the team.
Okay, hello everybody. First of all, I want to ask you one question. Who here in this room thinks that poker is a game of luck? Please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like half of you. And who thinks it's a game of skill? Okay, another half.
The same half. Interesting.
So before we jump into our poker lab, I want to give you a little bit of our background. I'm Amana, this is Dustin, he's my husband. And when I first met Dustin, I was really surprised when I learned that he plays poker professionally. It was his way of earning his living, and I was shocked because, like half of you, I thought poker was a pure game of luck. So, as we were dating and before we got married, the whole way we were watching a lot of poker tournaments on TV, the WSOP in Vegas, and all the European poker tour in the main European cities. I was getting very interested, and one thing really caught my attention, that in the final table, after thousands of players were out of the tournament, the same faces would show up most of the time. So there was always familiar faces showing up for the final table, and that just goes to show that poker is not a lucky game. It's a game where you can gain skills, and that's why we'll build this platform. It's a poker learning platform, and I'll let you with Dustin now. He'll walk you through it.
Thank you for the warm welcome. So, like she was saying, poker is like the game of skill, the game of luck. Which is it? It's very highly debated in everywhere in the world. And basically, when I started playing poker, I just fell in love with the game. I learned in college, actually, with dorm mates. You know, we just sit around $5 tournaments and we'd watch it on TV. And sure enough, that first year of college, this guy, this accountant from North Carolina in the States, he was just this regular guy. He beat out all the pros and won $1 million in a tournament, in a poker tournament. And sure enough, it just exploded. And the game everyone in college was playing, you know, and everywhere people wanted to play poker. And so, sure enough, like, I was like, okay, I gotta play this game. I wanna win $1 million one day. And so sure enough, I didn't care if it was skill, luck, whatever it was, I wanted to be a part of that. And sure enough, I started like studying and looking for all kinds of articles, reading books, but like, all the information was really dispersed, and I was wasting a lot of time, you know, going from this book to that book to this internet article, and all the while trying to get good at the game by actually playing, you know. And so Aman and I, we decided to start this poker learning platform called Poker Lab. And oh, go ahead, you can move on. Do you guys? So everyone here, I guess, how many people play poker? Have you ever played poker? Anybody?
I play.
Oh, quite a bit. Okay, cool. You guys are going to help me. You guys are going to help me with some questions. So, okay, so let's say we take a user who comes to the platform, and they sign up, and they're in. And this will be the first page they see. And it's, okay, well, let's see. Select your level based on your knowledge and experience. Okay, I've never played. I've played a few times with friends. Let's start with the basics. So we click on Start Lesson, and then sure enough, welcome to the basics. So we start with a video. I decided to start with a video to give someone a really nice representation of how poker is played. So we're going to go ahead and play this video. It's about 1.5 minutes, and just pay attention a little bit. Try to learn a little poker.
Texas Hold'em is the easiest game of poker to learn. Let me show you why. At the start of each hand, 2 players will have to post blinds. The small blind and big blind. These are used to start the betting. Each player is then dealt 2 cards. Now we have a round of betting. The player to the left of the big blind is the first person to do something. Each player can call, fold, or raise. Once all players have made their decision, 3 cards will be dealt face up on the table. This is called the flop. All players can use these 3 cards to make their best hand. Another round of betting occurs before another card is dealt face up on the table. This is called the turn. Like the flop, all players can use this card to make their hand. Another round of betting follows, and then we deal the last face-up card, known as the river. One final round of betting takes place, and then it's the showdown. This is where all of the players still left in the hand show their cards. To make their hands, players use the best 5 card combination from those available. This includes their original cards and the 5 cards that have been dealt face up. The person with the best hand wins all the money that has been bet in the hand.
All right. So as a user, you kind of, that is a very great video because it really does give you the very basic idea of how Texas Hold'em is played. So from that video, I decided to give them a quiz. Each player is dealt 2 cards face down called hole cards, and each player shares 5 community cards. I'm gonna go ahead and open it to you guys. If anyone wants to try to answer the question, what is the name of the first 3 community cards? The dealer deals face up on the. Oh,
I would guess the flop.
well, you would be correct. All right, so that's a simple question there. Next question. After a round of betting, the 4th community card is dealt face up. What is this card called? Does anyone remember? Nice. And the last and final card is called?
The river.
The river. Nice. Well done. So you guys took some of that information and kind of remembered. That's great. So then, the next idea was I basically wanted to teach from the ground up. So I want people, at first, like I would learn some kind of intermediate strategy and then kind of go back to the basics. So I was flip-flopping, But this platform is to get you from the start to the finish, learning in a much quicker, efficient way. So the next subject I thought would be important would be hand rankings, knowing what hands beat what. And so it's just a little visual content there for you. And most poker players, you guys probably know, whoever have played the hand rankings. So then here's a little image of the positions of the table. So you probably can't see, but the dealer button is here, the small blind, the big blind, those are the forced bets. And then these are the other positions: early position, middle position, and late position. And in poker, position is really important. So I'm trying to give them that idea in the basics too. Go ahead, next exercise. Okay, so here's the first exercise the user would get. And this builds upon everything that they learned in the first lesson, basics. So first question is hand scenario. Opponent 1 is the dealer, button, you, hero are the small blind, and opponent 2 is the big blind. So just take a look. I'll give you 10 seconds to just see what the scenario is. And okay, so now the first question is, what type of hand does opponent 1 have? So opponent 1 has ace 10 of diamonds, and the flop is 6 of diamonds, 5 of hearts, queen of hearts. Does anybody know what type of hand they have? Opponent 1? Oh yeah, ace high, pair of queens, 2 pair, or queen high.
It's high.
Nice, correct. You answered correct. Fernando wins 100 chips. Congratulations, Fernando. Next question. What type of hand does opponent 2 have? Opponent 2 has 7, 8 of hearts. Straight 8 high, flush queen high, straight and flush draw, straight flush. Anybody?
Straight and flush draw.
All right. I think that's correct. Nice. You now have 840 chips. You've played before.
I've watched your presentation before.
Yep. Thank you. What type of hand do you have? You're the hero, remember, with king, queen of spades on that board. 2 pair kings and queens, 1 pair of queens, king kicker, 3 of a kind queens, or king high. Anybody?
I think they're good opponents for you.
Yeah. That would be 1 pair of queens, king, kicker. And so you go through and you just answer the questions for that exercise. And let's see, which player has the best position at the table? That would be the opponent 1 because he's the dealer. And which player has the worst position at the table? That would be you because you're in the small blind. You're always first to act. in the hand, so every opponent gets to see what you do after each card. Which player has the strongest hand on the flop? That would be you, because you have king, queen, you have top pair. And then the last question, this is a little bit harder. You know, it's kind of getting you prepped for what you can learn in the later stages, in the harder lessons. Which hand has the highest probability of winning with two more cards to come? So that's the flop, and then the turn and river are still to come. So which one of these hands would be the best, is most likely to win? And that would be actually the 7-8 of hearts, because 7-8 of hearts has 15 outs. So they have the flush draw, they can hit any heart, or they have the straight draw. Any 4 or 9 gives them a straight. So that's 15 outs. And with 15 outs to come, with 2 cards to come, you have like 54% probability of winning the hand. So it's better than the coin flip. And so that would be the end of the lesson. And then you would complete the exercise and move on to, welcome to theory. It's getting a little bit deeper into the game, learning a little bit more. And if you guys can complete this app, you guys can come play with me at the tables, because I want to play with some new opponents.
And make money.
Yeah, make some money. And yeah, that's it, guys. That's all.
Basically, just first thanks to Mateus to help me for this presentation, because I was developing it on my own. So I will try to give you what I did on my best during 9 weeks. First of all, I'm super happy because each of you in this room and each person in the world is potentially a customer and a user for Rise tomorrow. I will start with, before showing the page, I think my assistant is strong enough to don't show it. I want to start with one number. You remember, I say it before showing. 100 million. What is this number? I'm just caring that he's not showing you and revealing you the business before I should tell you the numbers. So 100 million, guys, is the number of homelesses in the world. The second number I want to provide you is oh, thank you. I told you already, eh? I don't want to show it before the numbers, but it's so. The second numbers, guys, is 1.5 billions, which is the number of waste in tons per year. On the left, we have 100 million homelesses. On the right, you have 1.5 billion waste. So the purpose was just simple: how to connect the givers in the world with the homelesses in the world. So I will make you through a real scenario, okay? I'm leaving tomorrow, and I don't want any more of this bag. So let's make a case. Let's say that tomorrow I want to give it in Paris because I'm late. So first of all, I'm just look and find if there is people that I can give, because I'm a giver. I want to find a homeless in Paris. Let's do that. So Paris, I click, and I'm fine. Internet should be kind. It's the case, we don't move. So, 2 scenarios. The first one, what is important for me, because I'm living in the 18th, is to know the closest ones. So I can pick one marker. I saw the person. Or, what can I do? Second scenario. Can I go back? Sorry. So we do it again, Paris. Like this, you will know very well the platform, So, Paris, you find. And I told you my first motivation is by the place. I could do it differently. I can go down and look and see who they are, what's their story, and everything. Okay, let's suppose that I want to give it to Thomas by location, or because his story affects me. So I go on Thomas, very simple. I do his profile. So here you can find his stories. Who write the stories of the homelesses? You, people. Any of us can change the story and make the story of this homeless. The picture is the same. And then, what's happened? I want to know 2 things. I want to know where is Thomas exactly, or I want to get his contact. Otherwise, I will not go on the street and try to know where he is. So, I get contact and position. Boom. So, I have to express my intention, what I want to give him. There is many solutions that you can give to homeless from tomorrow. You can give food, you can give goods, you can give skills, you can give hospitality. It's up to you. Let's say you give it good, because I give my bag. Remember? Perfect. And I click on get contact. Oh, super. Fine for me because he got a phone. So, as the homeless got the phone, it's easy for you. You can text them or you can call them. But an amazing other feature that I want to show you, you close, and if you go down, you can access, if you stay on the map, you can access all the position, the last 5 positions of Thomas, so you know where he is. This is the current one. The blue one shows you where he is. So you can deal with the phone or you can deal with the address. So what you do basically, so in that case, I just have to take this bag. I have to call him and say, okay, where do we meet? When do we meet? And I can give him. Or in my daily basis, because I pass by this street, I can have a look because I know where he should be. Excellent. And then, normally, but we make it quicker for you, I give it to him. Sorry, Fernando, you will be my...
Your home is
Thomas. Okay, exactly. Basically, it's important for us to, as a users and as citizens, to make them stronger as the profile. So what's happened? I make a button to make you quickly understand. Normally you receive an email after 24 hours. You can create a review. So let's take an example. So you are free, my friend, to do whatever you want. So normally you receive an email and that say, give your feedback. Oh, did you reach Thomas? Can you give his feedback? Stuff like that. Oh, perfect. You can, if you want, we will not do it, choose and upload a picture. You can create the review. And then, that's the customer flow. Tomate Plantier, okay? So, easily how to get in contact with homeless. Let's show you now more features, because I told you that the responsibility of poverty is not the case of the many, it's the case of all of us. So, if I don't have nothing to give, or I'm afraid to give, I can contribute for tomorrow. What I can do? I can share his profile. Thomas is someone that has good reviews. I have strong network on Facebook. I want to help him with my network. So basically I can write, okay guys, Thomas is very good guys, let's try to help him. And I have maybe 800 friends, which more or less live on the same neighbor that I live. So my super partner in crime will do it. Okay, perfect. And you can post on Facebook and let's show what's happened. No? Okay, it's public, but it's fine. You have to turn on. It's fine, you will show to all your friends. You make me free marketing, man. So, that's exactly what you can do, okay? So, from now, with this product, you can give to any homeless that is mapped in this world. Let's show you now another features. No worries, you will have time to leave it from Facebook. You can go to the homepage. And now, you are on the street, and let's say that second behavior, you're on the street, you heard about rice, you want to help. I told you, any of us as a citizens has a responsibility to fight against poverty. I find one homeless, I talk with him, he doesn't heard about rice, and I want to help him. What can I do? Perfect, here we go. So, I was thinking and I said, wow, that's an issue because you will not get your computer with all the time with you when you will have to help a homeless. So the solution was the phone. So I have to develop the same for the phone, how to adapt and make it responsive. So from tomorrow, you are on the streets, and then you have 2 new behaviors that you can do. You can help him, discuss with him and say, okay man, do you know rice? Oh, you don't know it. Man, we can really help you. So basically, I click on add a new homeless, I log in, and then I can add a homeless. Let's say that his name is Peter, don't know, Johnson. And then he lives in, is the Eiffel Tower, okay? Eiffel Tower, Paris, or United States. They don't help me. Oh, because it's Paris, Champs-Élysées. Who have been there? Right. Okay, and I'm on the rush, so I cannot provide the phone and anything, so I can add in. So I add in this gesture that you do, any citizens will help me because now it will be shown on the map. Okay? So I didn't have time, I didn't have picture, I don't have story, but we can deal later. This position is here. Now, last feature that I've been developing. No, not the last, it's fine. Another behavior. You're on the street, you talk with him, and he said, okay, I'm already on rice, but people cannot reach me and everything, and so what we can do? You're on the street, you are with your phone, and you can update his location. So, I go on the dates, upload the name, Do you remember the same we were creating? No, take another one, Peter Walker, because he gave me his names. Oh, Peter Walker. Oh, actually, you were on Rue de la Bastille. Okay? And now I'm on, let's say, Rua Duque Estrada, right? What's the address here?
Rua Duque Estrada.
Thank you, Mateus. I'm happy that you are in this setting. So, Rua Duque Estrada in Rio, because he moved for many reasons. And I click on update, and I help him. And now his location changed. So far, for the moment, you can help any homeless, helping them to map them on the map as any people in the world can give to them, and you can update the location, because if he doesn't got a phone, this homeless, if he doesn't got a phone, what's happened? As I told you, I give my intention. My intention is to give him goods. I contact him. Oh, he doesn't get a phone register. So I have to find him by the location. So the most important involvement we will put to update location, the better it will be to find where they are. Remember, he was in Paris and now he's in Rio, okay? So let's come back to show you now one more feature, because we are here to show you techniques. That's the reviews of the people that have been giving. If you go up, but just wait a bit, what you have to understand is that for me, the bootcamp was not a game. It was a time for me to develop my social business, and the kickoff of RISE is on the 1st of December. Alone, I will not be able to do that. And I was thinking how people can help us. So, first thing is you understand and you will tell, oh, Alan, that's fine, but the location, it's complicated, I have to go among all the streets and everything. So, we thought about how we can make a social business people paid, but not paid to give me money, because I don't want that. So, what we thought about, and we developed as a feature, is donation. But donation is, basically, anytime you will provide 10 euros or $10, it will provide a phone to an homeless. We were thinking, oh, the phone is very easy to find them and to contribute to make it grow. So, any donation that you will do from tomorrow will go to provide phones to homeless. And any of you, because it's collaborative, will know to which homeless you give the phones. So basically, it's donate 10 euros. We have to show you techniques, so let's do that, because I passed quite a time. So, and it's basically, okay, a feature. We are not even obliged to show you, but let's do that. So how fast also you can have an idea of how you can implement payment in your future websites. Wow, your credit card is very good, man. Until 2020. No, you don't need 2 numbers, it's fine. Okay, it's fine, good. Pay. And as simple like that. So, you go to another page. Donation successful, and you receive the basic emails that says that exactly which homeless you helped. So, I would like just to conclude saying that contribution is the most important thing for me, but not only coders, marketer, translation, marketing, any people count on this business, because any of us can fight against poverty. Now it's just a tool. And if you want, because I have to play also my role, you can go and contribute, and you can find from tomorrow, because it's online, it's risekindness.com, you can see how you can help with photo, with coding, with helping on the city, poverty and everything. Just to let you know something on up. For this contribution, and it's painful about coding, that's the last feature I did. It's translation, guys. Translation is very painful. So you know that in the 1st of December, it will be translated at least in French, Spanish, Portuguese. The last one is the main one, English, yeah, obviously. Okay? Kickoff is the 1st of December. Thanks for your attention, and I hope you will fight against poverty.
Hello, there we are. We are casual. We're actually a team of 3, Horacio, Jonas, Gisele. We have created an online marketplace for buying and selling clothing and fashion items online. So it's casual is the name. And we did this because sometimes we want to get rid of clothes or accessories that are just taking up space in our wardrobe. And also sometimes we would like to sell or we want to find and buy clothes also that match our lifestyle or our needs somehow. So we want to search for this online, make a little extra money of selling. And yeah, so that's our users, people looking to sell and to buy. And maybe also they're looking for a rare item, or they just want to browse what's available in their city around them. So I'm going to demonstrate for you the casual platform. And let's say I'm a guy who's looking for a present for my girlfriend. So I go on the casual website. I select a category. Right now I'm looking for a shirt because I want to buy a shirt as a present. So I select shirt. I'm located in Rio de Janeiro, so I type in Rio. I don't know which sites I'm looking for. I could select the sites, but I don't know yet. So I go ahead and search and see what I find. So okay, I can see there are some items located here in Rio, in Copa. Okay, that's good. I wanted this blue shirt here. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I want to buy that as a present. So I go ahead and look at the details because I want to see more photos, see more of the item. So, okay, here we can see the item displayed. I can see in the carousel here are more photos. Okay, it's looking good. It's what I want to buy as a present. But before I buy, I wonder about the seller. Is it a legit seller? So you can see here some previous ratings from previous transactions about the seller. It looks to have a good rating, so it's a legit seller. I can also see further up that Casual suggested some other items based on my search, but I'm not going to look at them now. I like this shirt and I want to buy this as a present for my girlfriend. So I go ahead, add to cart. This will take me to a payment site. I can see here some information. I see there's a correct item, estimated delivery, and the price. So, okay, I want to buy this. I'll go ahead and place the order. This takes me to a credit card form, very fast and easy. I just plug in. So if this is approved, this will take me to an order confirmation site. Yeah, so here we are. Thanks for your purchase. So this is approved. You have an order number as your reference, and the status is sold. So I bought a shirt from Giselle. So Giselle is going to show you and navigate from a seller's point of view. I bought this, so she's automatically notified with an email for her sale.
Yes, hello everyone. As Jonah mentioned, I just was notified by email that my product was sold. So let's go to see my email box and see if the message is there. Yeah, good. Casual is very efficient, so I can see. Yeah, so I'm considering to create a new ad and through Casual. So let's go to the Casual website. Nice. Before I create my new ad, I have to log in first. So let's go there. And I will click on sign in with Facebook. Just one click, I will be logged. Yeah, here we go, good. And now I'm ready to fill the form and describe about my product. So let's do that. And yeah, I can say that my category product will be a jacket. And this is a sport jacket name. My size is M. I have to also fill my address for purpose of the logistics and also geocoding. And I have to fill the days that you're gonna take to delivery. And then I will upload the picture that I already selected. So they are there, my product. Great. So it's just creating the ad. Good. So let's just double check if everything is going well. Yeah, I can see on the carousel. Yeah, I think the picture is good. And also the description, I think is enough for that. Great. So since that I have already some prior products on my list, so let's have a look on that and see what are their status. And I can see here that I have some product that was already sold. That's really nice. And yeah, maybe I will take out one of these products. I won't sell longer. It will be the nice shirt, please. Let's remove this one. Yeah, I still have some products that are available. So you guys, this is time for shopping. So you can have one of my products. What's mine can be yours. And this is it. Thank you for your attention. Thanks for coming.
All right. So first of all, I just want to thank every single one of you for being here. I know it's not easy, and it's not the best presentations in the world, but let me tell you, we worked very, very hard on this for about 9 weeks. Almost went crazy, all right? So anyhow, my project, my app is about cars, car buying specifically. So if you ever bought a car, I know a lot of people in Rio haven't, but in the States it's huge, right? And most people finance vehicles. So just to give you a little hindsight of the problem we're trying to solve. Well, let's say I decide today I need a car, right? So we're at day 0. So if I decide today I need a car, typically it takes me 90 days from when I buy it, right? So I go online, I start searching, I pick a color, I pick wheels, I pick this, that, and the other, right? Now, the emotional factor, what I call the emotional factor, is directly related to your salesperson. So when you're ready to buy and you go to the dealership, if you get a bad salesperson, this thing is going to skyrocket. So a lot of sales are lost that way. Did you get a bad salesperson? You're done. You don't want to deal with this person. It's headaches, right? So you walk out. So that's a big, huge problem in the business. So let me show you what I mean by a bad salesperson. I'm going to show you a little clip. It's about 40 seconds. So you get an idea of what I mean, all right? So this is on YouTube. Anybody can pull it. And there's a bunch of them, too. But, I'll show you a little bit of clip, and I think it's important to see this.
So what do you say? Let's go inside and make us a deal.
Well, can I take on a test drive first?
All right, I'll go get the keys. I don't want to spend all day doing this, I got a lot of cars to sell. Let's go back to a deal.
Well, can I take it on the highway first?
Hey, this is going to be a joyride. I got to pay a customer back there on the line.
Tired of being badgered? Come to any Johnson Automotive dealership.
So you let it go a little longer just so they can see the next one.
Hey, buddy, how about us making us a deal?
I like her a lot. How much wiggle room we got on the price?
Wiggle room? I'll show you wiggle room. Wiggle, wiggle, oh, wiggle, wiggle.
So anyhow, I think you get the point, right? So what happens in the car business, there's a high attrition, there's a very, very high attrition rate. Let me repeat that. There's a very, very high attrition rate. Because you don't have holidays, you don't have weekends. So that means you have a lot of people that don't know what they're doing because you just got to fill that role. But you also have very, very talented salespeople. Now, one of the problems, a lot of these salespeople, a lot of times they're just waiting at what they call the point half the time, wasting your time. So why not maximize that? If I'm a salesperson, I want to deal with the best, right? I don't want to waste my time. So that's the problem we're trying to solve. So let's say Armando Ramirez today decides to buy a car. I'm going to go to Nissan down the street. Go to Nissan, and I get a guy, he's not good. So I heard about this app. I'm going to go to the app. I'm going to punch in. I'm at a Nissan dealership right here in Rio. Log in, and it's going to show me what I call car buddies. Now these car buddies are the best of the business, right? Handpicked by us. So let's say I decide, for example, after reading their profile, blah, 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 I like Alan. I'm going to go with Alan. Alan's a good guy. He seems like he knows what he's doing. He's got experience. He's got some reviews. And so, you know what, I think I'm going to hire this guy. Now, I have 2 options, right? I can hire a guy just right now that can be here in seconds, or not seconds, but minutes. That'd be nice in seconds. Or I can set up an appointment. Let's say I'm tired of shopping today, I want to shop tomorrow. So both options. Let's say I decide, you know, I'm going to set up an appointment with this guy. So you pick a date, maybe tomorrow, morning or afternoon, typically 2 chunks, right? And you hire this person now. Of course, you need to be logged in, but yeah, you get the point. So anyhow, the whole point is once you're logged in, you hire this person, that person gets a message. So now that's set up for tomorrow, right? You put in some notes there, you say blah, 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 I'm tired of dealing with bad salespeople, I want to deal with the best. So let's move on. So you can create that. So as a user, I'm nicely set up now for tomorrow. Right? So that's how you implement that. Now, there's another role. So there's 2 roles in this application. The other role is you can become a car buddy. Because not just anybody's going to go on the app and just say, I want to be on the app, I'm going to sell, because that's not the point. So you can become a car buddy. So you go in on the app and you log in as a car buddy. And we can skip that. It's just payment if you want. You can pay for the service. Obviously, this is funny money. It's in test mode, right? So when you log in, you can become a car buddy, fill out your profile. Now it sends it to us, and we decide, we review it. Now the beautiful thing about becoming a car buddy is you can set up your own schedule. You can be your own boss, right? That's very important. A lot of people want that. And at some point, let's say you decide you already helped about 13 people, you got a little bit of money, right? Similar to Uber. You can cash out. You just put your account, and we wire the money for you. So that's also the point of it. That's very important. Now, one of the things you're not seeing on this platform that we're going to implement is going to be huge. Referrals. In the car business, referrals are huge. So Mateo sends me a customer, I give him $100. But typically a problem is he shows up, he's like, hey, I sent you this customer, and I don't have the money with me. And he hits me up again, and I don't have the money. So he's going to get tired. So we implement the same thing. We put it on there. So everything, he sends me a customer, they use the platform, automatically he gets $100 in his bank account, right? So that's round and round we go. So that's the basic premise of the app. It's basically Uber for car buying. That's it.
Hi guys, I'm Matthew, this is Harsh, and our other team members, Yash and Yogo. So we're all a young professional who recently graduated, and throughout our studies we realized that teacher lectures, student presentation, and also during meetups, these presentations were lacking interactivity, connectivity, and dynamic. And also, on a personal basis, I recently did my final thesis, and I had to do a presentation for my class, and I realized that most of the class didn't really know what I was talking about, because the subject was a bit technical, and also they were a bit bored because of this technicity. So our solution to this is Slide. Slides allows the presenter to shoot out live surveys and live questions to the participants of the events, but it also allows the users, the participants, to connect and interact between themselves, to really have a social experience and keep the presentation dynamic. So this is our homepage. Now we're going to show you how to create an event. You put in the title of your event, just for you guys, for example. The location, Huatuque, or whatever, the date and the time, and a little description to allow the user to have access to a description of the event. So here is your event description, where you have the list of participants that will be uploaded later, the surveys, the questions, and your email address. And this is where you add slides. And those slides, you can make it anywhere. You just upload it on our website. Because we don't really have time, we're not gonna show you this. We're just gonna go directly on the event we created before. So this is our dashboard. On this dashboard, you can see the events you created, but also the events you attended. So now I'm gonna simulate that I am from HBO. I am the digital marketing manager of HBO, and I want to present to you guys theories about fan-based theories on Game of Thrones. So this is how, on this live page of the presentation, you can see that you have a chat and also a live chat and also a live, here you can ask the presenter a question and it's always update lives. So we're going to show you how to make a survey because surveys are really interesting for the presenter so we could get feedback from the users and data from the users. So, because it's Game of Thrones, I want to know if you guys are a fan of Game of Thrones.
Woo! Yeah, I'm not.
I am.
Well, you'll be able to tell me that without interrupting my presentation, actually.
Okay.
So, here you have access to the survey, and the user will respond and it always updates live. We're actually, if you, on the technical side, we're using WebSockets to do that, if any of you are developers. So now, I want to know, as you all know, Game of Thrones has a main antagonist, which is the White Walkers and the Night King. So, what do you know about the Night King? Yeah. You have the several options. And all the surveys always update lives, which is really, really cool. And also, as you can see, the user can always interact between them, which keeps the presentation kind of dynamic, and the user is always focused on the presentation. So, I'm going to explain quickly the theory about who is the Night King, actually. There's a fan theory about Bran Stark as the Night King, which with his power, he was actually blocked in this time loop. And so, if you guys want to dig deeper, it's free on the internet. So, as you can see, generally, users, they want to ask the presenter some questions, but they don't want to interrupt the presentation. So I have this little box that allows the user to ask presentations to the presenter.
Not that game.
So for example, when is the next season coming? Okay, so now we're gonna simulate that the event is finished. And as a presenter, I can get access to all the data during this presentation. So I can access the list of participants. And for example, if a user had a really interesting subject he wanted to go dig deeper, I could directly send him an email through this contact. We also have access to all their surveys. So this is really important for the presenter because after the event, he could see all the data that he got from the user, and for example, his next presentation, he could change his presentation with this data and always improve his presentation. And we also have a list of questions. So this is live, guys. This is it. I want to thank all the teachers for their hard work, and all the TAs and all the students. It was an amazing experience.
So we have here Rodrigo Machado. He is one of the founders of Capazes. So it's a pleasure to have him today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rodrigo. So explain for those aliens who doesn't know what Capazes is. What is Capazes?
Okay. Capazes, in English, capazes, is a crowdfunding platform. I think everyone here knows Kickstarter. You know, I think it's a good point of start because it's well known today. But when we started in 2010, actually we were a small group of people, like thinking in how to solve a problem. And we are actually 5 founders, and we didn't know each other before founding Capazes. And every one of us, we had some kind of pain about the business. I was, for example, a photographer. I was graduating in journalism. I was studying Kickstarter, and my final papers were about Kickstarter and Indiegogo and how the internet and like the decentralizations of funds and the distribution of opportunities through funding would be a changing point, a tipping point for artists, creators, entrepreneurs, and everything else. And we found each other through internet in a forum that was like put on air by Diego and Luis, two of the co-founders, and Daniel Weiman, who is a tango dancer and also a developer. And me and my brother, we were here like working in a project. Every one of each cell of the founders were working in their specific way of seeing this platform. And then we found each other and said, man, there's no sense, no point in competing, and let's join our forces because there's no market and we should join forces to go. And only one coder and 4 like guys from different backgrounds. And
5 passionate guys and
yes.
one coder. And how did we, since you were only one coder, how did you move from the idea and to the first steps, you know, to developing the platform?
Yes.
What was your like first step or MVP?
Yes, our MVP was like finding like projects that were willing to put their ideas on air and try to like validate it through funding, and no payment system, for example. Everything were manual, and we should like approve payments like Stripe is like express checkout and stuff like that. Today it's easy. At that time we need to manually approve every payment that were going through the platform. And this was a challenge.
We're talking about 2011, 2010?
2011.
Okay.
January to 2011 were our launching. And from then to now, we like had lots of challenges. And the most important one is like prioritizing. Going from the MVP to a like complex and always evolving incrementally platform. This is very difficult. And for example, Daniel doesn't work with us anymore, and we had to build a team. At the beginning, Daniel went to another he was like going to do other stuff, and we were depending on developers that were not inside working in capazes. So we decided to like internalize the team, and from that point on, that our work started to like really get a little bit more consistent and incremental every time, and we are always refactoring the website. We are open source, for example, from the beginning. We wanted to like let people get the code and do their job on top of our code. And there's a lot of platforms around the world that use the base code from capazes. And this is like what happened when it started with like 70,000 reais in like 1 month to like now almost 2 million every month, like being distributed to creators
through the platform.
Yeah.
Do you remember what was the first funded case?
Eu Repórter, if I recall it all right. Yeah. Those were 5 of them. Yeah. One of them was not successful, and the 4.
Okay, yeah. So you had like 4 out of 5 in the beginning?
Yeah, 4 out of 5, yes, in the beginning. And it escalated pretty quickly.
Yeah. So you were probably, I think, the first crowdfunding platform in Brazil.
Yeah.
We have, the crowdfunding is really present in our culture. We have vaquinhas, you know, so I think maybe you could, but no one had never thought about, you know, creating a platform for that. So we had the examples of the platforms, you know, abroad, Kickstarter. And I know many people tried, maybe at the same time or a bit after. Why do you think you succeeded? You know, it went so well for you and not that well for others.
Oh, this is a good question. There were lots of platforms. I saw lots of platforms die and get out of the business during the past like 7 years. And I think the first thing is like we were pioneers. The first movers, and but that's not the most important aspect. I think the most important aspect is the passion. We really had like passion about what we were doing. Like we really wanted to see the business thrive, and we didn't even saw it as a business. We saw it as a mission and a purpose that get these different kinds of entrepreneurs together to solve a problem, and we had a pain. I couldn't, like, for example, I was a photographer. I couldn't, like, expose and have funding for my photographies. I couldn't, Danielle couldn't dance. And I think this motivation and this, like, this inner drive that we had in ourselves, like, made us thrive. From the first platforms, only us, Benfeitoria and Embolacha are like the survivors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was tough. And it's a tough market. Crowdfunding is not easy. Like,
yeah, especially in Brazil.
Especially in Brazil.
Not, you know, we don't donate that much, we don't volunteer that much.
Yeah. And the ecosystem is not so well developed in many aspects. Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, it's cool that you're mentioning the purpose.
Yeah.
And so you have this goal of helping people achieving and make their projects happen. And but the platform is part of the job.
Yeah.
You know, it's not only, okay, I'll go there, I'll go online, I'll set up a campaign, and then it's not going to happen, right?
No.
What else do you do to help these people achieve their goals?
Yeah. Education, like content. And I think the platform is a very important factor. Like, if you do not have an easy to use and very understandable in terms of interface and the user experience platform, you see people getting out of it. They will not return, they will not use it, they will, like, go to another platform that offers something, some job that is done by the other platform that gets the people to get out of your platform. So I think that it's half and a half. And the other half is, like, you really must offer a branding, a strong branding, and confidence. I think the coin in crowdfunding is confidence. Like, the creator must interpret you as a trustworthy platform, and the backer must see you as a place where good creators are putting their projects on. And the audience is everything. The community is everything in a crowdfunding platform. And I think in most of the two-sided marketplace businesses, and I saw that 4 out of 6 here are two-sided marketplaces. Yeah. And I think you should build trust. There's no two-sided marketplace without trust. And this is difficult. It involves branding, it involves excellence in your product, in building your product. It involves, like, being very, very passionate about what you do, because this pass onto your users. So I think this is what's important when you're...
Okay. Tell us a bit more about the open source side of the project. So you've developed, your stack is on Ruby, right?
Yeah, Ruby on Rails.
Okay, cool. And what, do you know why this was the choice, or you're not a technical guy?
No, I know. Yeah. I'm not a technical guy, but I really...
But you have to do in the end,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. No, and I have this frustration that I'm not a technical guy. I would like to be the technical guy. And
well, I have a next batch going on.
Crowdfunding is about collaboration. We didn't see any kind of sense in, like, having a proprietary code. We really wanted to let it unleash the beast and see what would happen. But we didn't. This is a critic for ourselves. Like, we didn't evolve the open source strategy correctly. I think we would have been much more successful in terms of receiving benefits from the community if we had, like, paid attention. If we had paid attention to the open source aspect of capazes. Okay. Yeah, but I think it was it's based on ideology. I think. Yeah.
But the idea is it the idea to improve your code, or the idea is to generate, like, many forks projects and, you know, different, you know, spins of.
I think the idea is the fork, not like evolving our own code.
I see.
Yeah.
Because it works, right?
Yeah, it works.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And there's a lot of platforms built on top of our code around the world. In States, and we have seen platforms in Chinese. It's crazy. Yeah.
Cool. Guys, it's a chat, so if feel free to ask questions. Yeah, going back a little, I would like to hear a bit about the numbers.
Yeah.
I know you're expanding a lot and still growing.
Yeah.
And tell us a bit, the number of projects.
Yeah. Okay. 400,000 people already backed a project in capazes. It's small compared, for example, to Kickstarter, but for Brazil, it's huge. And I think we are the biggest in Latin America. More than 5,000 projects had come to life through Catharsis, and more than 64 million reais were pledged through Catharsis. And it's very interesting because people are willing to donate, to contribute. And if they are evolved by your idea, and it's a good strategy to launch products, for example. And we have seen lots of products that got traction by starting with crowdfunding projects. We have lots of cases of success in different categories. It's very interesting to see, and I think crowdfunding is evolving. And now we have 17 people in
the team.
Yeah, our team, and we were 5, then we grew to 10, then we grew to 26, and then we downsized it to 14, and now we are slowly growing ourselves to become more consistent. Okay. And it was not all flowers. For example, 2015 was very tough for us, and we had to change a lot of stuff, and it's always a challenge.
You're mentioning the evolution. What do you think is the next frontier for financing?
This is good. I think the next frontier is blockchain. And I think, for example, lots of ideas from here today could be well served or better served, I don't know, because I don't hold the answers with blockchain technology. And I think now blockchain is surrounded by ICOs, lots of money, and people raising $24 million in 24 seconds. And it's I don't think this is the path. I think that what blockchain will change utterly would be in governance, the way people interact in companies, and for us, for ourselves, we really want Catharsis to be more decentralized and more non-hierarchical organization. And I think and crowdfunding will be crowdfunding, not blockchain, will be the thing that will
foundation.
Yeah, the foundation that will allow us to be more disruptive in our own business model, I think, and lots of other business models.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate more on that? How you incorporate the
blockchain?
Yeah.
Nowadays, our points of values of exchange between the users of the two-sided marketplace is the pledge. Of course, you have the shares, and but what generates values for both sides is the pledge. But we saw, for example, if you are a video maker, there are people who needs a video maker. If you are a writer, there are people who needs a writer to copy your product or to help you making the description of your project and improving the chances of success with your project. And I think there's a whole ecosystem waiting to be evolved, and blockchain could serve to this purpose. For example, the interactions that could be done through blockchain would be much more secure, consistent, and transparent. We could, for example, release reports saying that we generated lots of thousands of opportunities that do not concentrate only in the pledge. We generated jobs, we generated people getting to know each other, connecting and launching new businesses, and I think blockchain could help us to do that. And even, for example, if we want to open the company, you could be like a shareholder, not in a way that people hold shares today, but in a way that you would have a portion of catharsis, and you could even like help us to decide which way to follow, which path to follow. And I think I see lots of applications to blockchain in terms of crowdfunding. For example, there's a movie right now that is raising funds through blockchain, and people instead of going to a film studio, they are like using blockchain to raise the funds, and they will produce the movie, and people will like help in every step of the production and get return over investment. It's interesting.
I'm curious to know, how do you build your singularity among all the competitors that you got?
Our singularity among
How do you build it?
Yeah.
To don't be finally the copy-paste and
No.
and forgot because anybody is
Yeah.
using. So how do you build the singularity basically?
Narrative. I think we invested a lot in narrative, like how we communicated and for example, the UVP, the unique value proposition. And I like to use the Power of Why book, like unique value promise. What you promise to your user is very important to us, and it's something that you need to craft on. It may seem that it's only a phrase or only but it's not. That's what you are telling to your customer. And I think the narrative is one of the things that detached us from the rest of the competitors, and the way we blended with the community, because this was very important. Like I was a cultural producer, and I was inside the community of artists here in Rio, and Diego is a net weaver, one of the founders, and I think these two aspects were determinant, and the code, and we were like we wanted something very well done, not something that worked, but something very well done.
Yeah. Is it correct if you say that you focus more on culture products instead of like actual products? Is it a correct way to put it?
Yeah, I would say so. We did not have, like, for example, investment. We bootstrapped ourselves entirely. So yeah, I think we invested in the culture around what we wanted the crowdfunding ecosystem here in Brazil to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interested in blockchain, and I'm wondering how do you, maybe not in such a technical term, because I know blockchain is kind of technical. Yeah. I've been following it for a while now, but I still really don't get exactly how do you guys utilize it? Like, how do you guys use it? If you're using it, I'm assuming you are, because you've been talking about it.
I think one of the devs, of the developers in Capazes, he used to say, Diogo Biazus, he used to say that not only the technical guys are the developers. He says that the guys that envision stuff and start to study and bring the knowledge, they are also the developers. They just perform another function, but they are also developers. I'm not the technical one. I can relate to the technical stuff. I can read some of the code shallowly, but yes, I can. And blockchain is the same. I'm started to study it this year more profoundly. One of our co-founders, Luis, is diving into the stuff, and even going to Switzerland right now to a place called Zig, I think, where they are facilitating in terms of jurisdiction and laws to blockchain companies to being launched. And we are trying to, we had conversations with guys from the Ethereum Foundation, and we are scoping the landscape to understand technical issues, to understand who we need to talk to understand how can we apply it efficiently to our business model. And I am not so concerned right now about the technical stuff. We are I like the OODA loop. It's observe, orient, decide, and act. We are right now observing and orienting ourselves of what is going to be blockchain. Because I really think that we will have a window of opportunity that will disrupt lots of business models. Like when we saw, for example, the marketplace, like iTunes, this kind of stuff, and the hardware, like iPhone, that disrupted the music industry. I think we'll see this in a few years. Right now it's like concentrated in a vertical, in a financial fintech vertical, but I think it will spread throughout lots of other kinds of business models.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. I have two questions. What was your biggest difficulty?
Yeah.
And how did you overcome it?
Okay.
The one you said, I want to quit.
I want to quit. Yeah, this is a good one, a good way to put it. Man, team formation and culture, company culture are always challenging. And we are a remote company. It's even more difficult because we are not in the same place, and building a company that is aligned and converging towards a common objective, a common goal is even more difficult when you are working remote. Like I'm a lone wolf living in Florianopolis, and there are two of us like living in São Paulo and Australia and Belo Horizonte, and I think this is a challenge. But the most challenging stuff that made me want to quit was like not being able to see that if we made the option of being a bootstrapped company, we should be profitable from the first day on, and we like cash burned and got like sold cars. And no, man, if you are going to bootstrap, you should be like profitable from the day one. And today I think it's something that keeps me awake. But I would say that company culture, it's the most underestimated challenge that people like do not usually see.
Yeah, you don't have the option to do a crowdfund for yourselves.
Yeah, no.
to keep that company alive.
Yeah, maybe we considered that. Yeah,
you did.
Like, yeah, eat your own dog food. Like, okay, let's crowdfund it and raise funds for ourselves. Yeah. But I think it would be like very misleading.
Yeah,
in terms
of course.
And so, how did you overcome this
company culture?
Company culture. Separated around the world.
Over communicating. I think, and reading a lot, and being open, and being very, very, very open to feedback, because it's so nice to say, oh, let's go build a culture of feedback, but when people receive, for example, negative feedback, they freak out. And no, man, negative feedback is like even more important than positive feedback sometimes. I think there's a culture of let's be positive all the time, and this leads you sometimes to denial. There were a period in Catharsis that we were in denial, not being able to see that we had tough challenges ahead, and right now we are not like this anymore because we invested in culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one question related to that, but I need to know if you this will be weird to ask now,
no,
do you guys
shouldn't
hire new developers?
Yeah.
Yeah. How you introduce these guys in a distributed company? Like how these guys because as a new developer now, my head is telling me like I want to work in a company that has like senior people that I can talk every day, I can learn from them. And how you guys manage to like bring these people like inside the company and make them like grow inside the company, learn because this is something that I'm really interested in now. Like if you say yes, like how do you guys do that?
Like our onboarding process and training process. Yeah, we throw people in the jungle. Like handle yourself, man. Yeah, I know it's tough, but I really believe that if you do not have like more than 30 people can like resolve yourself. And I think this questions of you is related, like you should, if you are working remotely, you should hire people that have this kind of mindset. They can handle themselves, like working alone. It's tough. Sometimes you like cabin fever. You talk alone. It's crazy. Slack is not like enough. But mostly I think that, of course, we are very receptible. We are kind to each other, and we are always talking to each other. But sometimes you should rely on the possibility and the capacity that people have to handle themselves in tough situations. I don't know if I think it's not orthodox of ourselves, but it worked.
What do you do? Like you throw oh, you should do that, and
yeah, talk to people, and have conversations. And if you have a doubt, shoot it, man. There's no wrong question. The wrongness is if you're not asking the question. You should ask everything. And of course, for example, one of our co-founders, Diego, he likes training, he likes onboarding, and he does onboarding. I think the thing is, if you are leading a team and you want to onboard people, go. Autonomy. I think autonomy is the answer. No, it's difficult to understand, and sometimes people feel like not so comfortable in this position, but it worked fine for us.
You just go there, start working, and then you have a catharsis, and then you're ready.
Yeah, you'll not freak out. If you start slowly asking people, and they will be solicit, and they will answer your questions.
Okay, guys, questions?
You told one of the main difficulties was to build one of the main things was to build trust.
Yes.
Between two-way marketplace.
Yeah.
And how do you build this trust in the beginning? Only through narrative, as you told, or you have follow-ups from the projects or any mechanisms?
We get involved a lot with the creators. I think it's a signature of us. We are not selling the how easy it is to have a crowdfunding project. We are not saying come here and go and you have money. No, that's not the question. I think we're saying come on, learn, understand your needs, talk to your potential backers, and we do not rush ourselves to close a deal. No, and I think that's the way you build trust, because if you are having this attitude towards the creator will have this attitude toward the backers. And of course, we enforce good practices, communicate. Man, if you are late, if your delivery is late, come on, communicate. And we have problems, of course. Everyone does. Yeah.
And how do you do that? So you follow each project on the platform. You really have this one-to-one relationship with each of the...
Not every project.
Okay.
We have even we P1, P2, P3, the organic ones, and this one goes through this path, and this one we will get... Generally, we get more proximate of people that are more related to our values.
Okay.
We want to make impact, and we want to people who are really creative or stuff it's not the measurements, not money, for example. It's the way your project is built.
Impact and
how is it designed,
and also
the impact it causes.
Okay, so you have a curatorship.
The platform is open, but we have a kind of curatorship in terms of how we get involved more one-on-one with creators.
Trying to accelerate certain projects which are more aligned with your...
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's very there's a relation between if there's a very cool project, lots of the long tail comes after, and that's strategic, for example.
Okay, cool.
Hey. You were talking before, but I would really like to understand more about the benefits of being open source. And why to incentivize people to just fork your project and take your hard work, for instance, and just start running your own business without maybe even writing back saying thank you. But what's the benefit of this?
In my point of view, I think being able to serve more people and to cause more impact. I think this is the main stuff. For example, one of the platforms here in Brazil that were theoretically like our competitors, I don't think they were, like they used the capazes code. And we were not able to serve the customers that they were serving. So that's the benefit. The increment, like the code being evolved was not the main benefit that we observed, because we do not like paid attention to the open source aspect of it. But I think that making more impact was the benefit. Like there are in the United States, for example, the Neighborly. It's a crowdfunding for neighbors to cause impact in their neighborhoods. It was made on top of our code. So we know that there are people using our code to make impact in other places. So this is enough for us. It's crazy. We do not make money out of it, but it's okay. Yeah.
It's about building trust.
It's about building trust in a way, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mathieu, you have questions? No.
I have one, but it wasn't. That's the question.
Okay.
I have one.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, which was the nicest project that you've seen being built in the Catarse and you feel like really proud of helping?
Oh man, this stuff, man. There's plenty of them. Like,
like the first one.
Like a highlight one. I really love one that is like right now. It's like open to pledges. Like it's a fry. It's a pan, iron pan. It's a guy who are like making iron pans, and this one they are making a Dutch oven. Dutch oven is like I don't know how to explain in Portuguese. It's like uma caçarola.
Mm-hmm.
And
casserola.
Yeah, casserola. And I like because I could never imagine that I would like back a kitchen ware in capazes. And it's a very author and signature like kitchenware, and I think it's very interesting. But I also like Mundano, Pimp My Carroça. It was a graffiti artist that became huge. Like it started with one project, and now he like benefits lots of people. We are proud of it. But there's so many projects, man. Every time is a new like that's what keep us going, even through tough times. Like every time there's something. Oh, this is cool, man. Yeah, that's it.
I did. Whoa!
Whoa!
I almost did. Yeah. You're having a question?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
It was you. Sorry.
It was back to how much. Like, is it only in Brazil? Is Catarsis only in Brazil?
Right now, yes. We accept international payments, but we are open only to Brazilian creators. Yeah.
And my other question was how many projects? How long have you guys been doing it?
Yeah.
And one last one was, do you guys accept anybody who wants to try to, be on your site, or do you guys have kind of like, you have to
guidelines
the project? Yeah, guidelines. No one can just sign up and say, oh, I want to put my name out there for this.
Yeah, we have been in the business for 7 years, like since 2011, January 2011. And yeah, we are open, an open platform. You can just launch a project. Our algorithm will like only list you if you're really like performing your campaign, because there's a lot of people who thinks that, oh, let's put a project on and just nothing happens.
Yeah, I am a living example. I was telling you, I have a bad experience with crowdfunding. I did one campaign.
Yeah.
It didn't work out well, even though we raised, I think, 8,000 reais at the time. So what tips would you do for the Fernando of the past?
It's not like lobbying, like go to a platform, because the platform has the critical mass. Mass, like we have like the audience, and I think it's crazy, but we have even a metric that we say XX% of your backers were from previous projects or from new projects, or if you can like measure if you are acquiring new clients or new backers or whatever you want to call it. But I think this is one of the stuff. we saw that even, for example, in the comic book category, lots of the guys tried to like like try solo raising funds, like, and in capazes they raise more, because we have the community, and the community is like searching for projects, and we are recommending it, and we are talking to people, and everything like is going round and round, and people find other projects beyond their initial interests. And the other tip would be like, do not underestimate the effort, because it's a campaign. It's not something that you just send an email. You need to call people. You need to talk to people. You need to breathe your campaign during the period that you are on air. And previous planning, I think it's very important.
And there's also technique, right?
Yeah,
you start by this target, and then you move
and then
to
you do that.
People close to you. Then.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I think we have plenty of material to support your studies when you want to launch a campaign.
And I had another question. Do you guys have people? Do you back like sports athletes or people who are aspiring to be musicians or poker players? Because I ask because in the poker realm, they actually have what are called backers.
Yeah.
But you have a certain like setup with one person who makes all the money when you win. You know, there's I know several like backers who have made millions just from backing players. You know, and quite a
like
few.
a return on investment.
Yeah, but like for you guys, like I was just wondering if you guys have a platform for that kind of thing, because you know, you can back someone, maybe someone wants 1%. I'm going to play in the main event. It's a $10,000 buy-in. But if I win it, I win $8 million, and then they could get, you know, 2% or 5% or 10%.
Now, this is possible, but in Brazil, it's not permitted to receive money from our kind of business model. This is one problem. You cannot receive like money in return of your pledge. Cannot do that, or booze, or drinking, or drugs, or of course this kind of stuff. So you cannot bet. You cannot like this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so
it's a form of risk, right?
yeah.
Like giving your money
But
to try to win money.
they released like a regulation now, and maybe this kind of stuff that you're talking about will be possible in the near future. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
My question is, how do you think that you can motivate most people to donate money, especially on the crisis time?
It's a good question. Yeah, we grew a lot during the crisis. I think it's because everything else becomes more scarce, and people tends to look at this model and say, man, it's a possibility. And out of fear, or out of this feeling of I do not want to depend on traditional and conventional ways of getting funded, I will try this. And it's a good way to I think with Kickstarter it happened the same. Like they thrived. The crowdfunding originally thrived during the crisis in the United States, when people tried, oh man, let's go do that, and money. Here in Brazil, it's crazy. We have been asked about it a lot. Like, how during the crisis are you growing? And I think, man, people are starting to get along with each other, and not me with the government or with the bank. I want to be side by side with people that have common interests. You know, I think that's the question.
You think that in the future one day you can reach the size of Kickstarter or something like that?
I don't think so. Yeah, and I'm very realistic about it. Like, Kickstarter is in the United States, and I think that's a good thing for every entrepreneur. Like, you must know your market. Of course, we have the potential, but when you look, oh, we have 200 million people here, or we could go global. But Kickstarter had like the whole industries of diverse categories, not only one category or one vertical, were already developed before the crowdfunding model. So if you talk about like music, they have they have access to means of production. We do not have this kind of access here. For example, if you want to release a book, you do not even have like easy way to produce your book in bulk. They have lots of options, and I think this infrastructure that is previous to the crowdfunding, it's like a country or industry infrastructure, is determinant to access the potential of the platform, of a crowdfunding platform. Of course, we can be much bigger than we are right now, and I think it's a thing. But be like Kickstarter, I don't know. I think it's too much.
Yeah. You guys all know me as a poker player, but I also aspire to be a professional beach sand volleyball player. I was wondering if people, like, say I want coaching, and I don't have the money.
Yeah.
But like, can you give for that? It's kind of like a project to make me a professional athlete. The users don't, gain any money or anything. But if they're volleyball fanatics like me, and they like my story, or they see me like kind of rising the ranks, but I could use a little bit more money for travel, or you know what I mean, something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Like judo, like the fighting. There's a guy from judo that he had like raised funds for 6 or 7 events. There's a guy who are going to study in Silicon Valley right now. I think Draper University. I don't quite remember the name. He raised fund to go to the Silicon Valley. There are people that are raising funds for like launching MVP. People that are raising funds to lots of stuff. Anything's possible. Only if you do not offer interest in terms of money, like and money and stuff like that. Or nothing illegal.
So, like, these people, they have like a certain range of amount of money they want to make, or they just take whatever they end up getting after 2 weeks?
We have the two models. We have the all or nothing model. That usually it is a model that fits. Like, if you want to make a movie, you cannot make one movie. You can make a movie with 10,000 reais, a short. But you cannot make it with 1,000. So you put it there, all or nothing, 10,000. But if you want to sell something that you already have, or something that any kind of amount would be worth it, so you use the flexible funding model.
But do you have to prove that this amount was used for that project?
This is one of the benefits. For example, the blockchain technology would be like that. This is for example, something that we are questioned about every time. And I say, man, I really believe that the community self-regulates itself. If you like make shit with the money, like spend it in something that you should not be spending it, the community will notice, and you will be like in a not good position.
In 2 weeks ago, there was like a raising thing. Like, there's a guy in Brazil, he teaches online how to code, and he raised like last year, $60,000 reais to do like a live online course, and he never delivered the course. Everybody was complaining about that. It was like a huge riot.
Everyone who donated said, "Hey, where's the course?" So you get a bad name.
No, not like he was like he went public asking for excuses.
I don't remember the name of the guy.
I think he never get money anymore. From this kind of stuff.
It was not on capazes. Okay.
I think it was Luis Fonseca.
You know the guy.
Yeah.
What is the average funding for successful projects, for funded projects?
Yeah, but we have like a broad spectrum of it. Like,
of course,
I think the average is like 15,000.
Okay.
15 to 25,000.
They have small projects, like
small
the guy
projects.
only needs 1,000 reais for.
It's easier, and usually, for example, there's a metric that's very interesting. You start with one of 10,000, and then you go to one of 20, or you start with 8 and go. In the 4th, 5th product, you'll be easily it's much more easier to get funded than the first one, because you have like we call the repeat backers. Okay. You retain if you are delivering correctly your projects. On the fourth project, the people already trust you, and then in 2 days you get funded. It's much more easier. And there's another aspect of it. In the seventh, maybe sometimes guys are okay. I begged too much. I want another stuff, and then you get difficulty again. And that's why we are trying always to solve these kind of problems that appear and during our journey. And we are like learning from the process all the time. Like we knew that on the fourth project it was everything okay, and then we are starting to learn that, man, when the guy is really a recurring creator, maybe the best solution is not the project, is the recurring model. And that's why we are evolving, we're always evolving incrementally the platform, solving problems and the jobs to be done. Like that's a methodology that we sometimes we follow.
Okay. Last question.
Do you think there's still place for niche crowdfunding platforms? Like,
good question.
Like the guy, the bot, you know,
like Poke Player.
Yeah. Because one of my ideas was like a crowdfunding for farmers.
Yeah. I wrote about it, about niche platforms. And I really liked one, I will not recall the name, about like producing books for photographers, like, but it like bankrupted. What I think about it is like, for example, fig.co, it's a niche platform that targets games, electronic games, and they like stole the whole games category from Kickstarter, for example. This is a niche crowdfunding that worked, but it worked because they innovated in an aspect. They provide you the possibility of being only a backer, like I just want to back and receive the game, or being an investor. They had like the Security Exchange Commission, the approval to work like that. And you can choose, I will invest this game, and if this game sells a lot, I will receive return over investment. I think this kind of niche platform has the possibility of thriving in a long game, because they are bringing something new to the model. But if you only want to I don't know, assemble a niche platform, and if this problem is being solved by a huge platform, they will always win because they have the audience. And this is, unfortunately, is a market of winner takes all, I think. It's difficult for the small ones to survive in the long game. It's unless you have, for example, people backing you up, like you have subscribers. Your platform has subscribers. You know, that would be an option.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
That's it.
We're running out of time. You know, people's drinking our beer over there. So we need to go there and save the beer. I would like to thank you again.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.